Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's the word? What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Y'all already know what it is, man. We are back again, and it's bonus banger time, y'all. That's a lot. It's bonus banger time. That's a lot, and I got one. Y'all know I keep a banger at all times. But like I always say before I start these videos off, man, I have no problem delivering this content to everybody that's out here working hard, working a 9 to 5. Everybody that's out here with their own business, getting to that bag the legit way. I make sure y'all got something to watch in the mornings, man. I promise y'all, it's no problem on my end. I also have no problem making sure I'm warning y'all and telling y'all about how dangerous prison is. I only ask for one thing in the process, and that's for y'all to just stay out the way, man. I'm not asking for a lot. I want you to stay out these jails. I want you to stay off them buses headed to prison, man. I want you to keep handcuffs off you, man. Only way that's going to happen if you change your ways, man. I'm letting you know now. I know it's a lot what I'm asking, man. I'm asking you to basically change the entire person that you are. Because right now you are sliding, gliding. You riding for your hood. You're going to do whatever it takes just to be on top when it comes to violence, man. But that's not the key. Violence don't make you no money, man. Violence don't keep you out here with your family, man. Violence don't do nothing but put you in two places, man. The graveyard or in the prisons, man. And you know that by now. You already know that, man. You already know it's only two places you go. And I already know there's some people out here that already accept that, but that's not a good thing to accept, man. That those are your only two choices in life, man. Change your life around, man. I'm telling you, man, it's a better life on this side by being a dude that's legit and staying out the way, man. Come over here and rock with us. There's nothing wrong with it, man. If anybody joking you about not wanting to go to prison, man, they never nobody that care about you, man. So just change your life around, man, and stay out the way, y'all. Period. But y'all already know what it is, man. This the bonus banger right here. So what I need y'all do this one. Like, share, subscribe, this one, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. It's time for business. Time for business, y'all. And the story I got for y'all today is called Beefing with a Coward. Part 1. Crazy story, crazy situation, but we are aware, people. We are in penitentiary, man, where crazy things happen all the time. And y'all already know, man, like, they got people in there that are real deal cowards, man. Like, and I'm not saying that like I'm trying to like talk down on these people, but it's just a lot of people that come to prison that's not really built for prison. You know, a lot of them fall to the predators and all that stuff, man. And like, a lot of them just regular dudes in there, man, just trying to get their time over with and trying to survive the best way they can. And being a coward is part of their DNA. So like, it's nothing they can do about it, man. They just trying to stay in there and really don't get seriously hurt because they already know being a coward, that's not a good thing in penitentiary, man. So those people in prison that live the life of a coward, it's never really a good life, y'all. So with that being said, though, we on Sussex 2 for this, y'all. We on Sussex 2. I can remember being in 2C, man. Kind of early in the 2000 game, man. Like, I'm still running around being a young psycho, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't doing nothing but messing with the la-la, gambling, spending up my little money every time I get it, man. I had nothing going on at this particular time, man. Nothing at all, man. I'm just someone in there that's trying to really just learn prison. Like, this is the early stages in 2C. So I'm trying to learn how to just do, how to bid the right way. I'm actually taking notes from a lot of people I've seen. At the end of the day, I still need to learn within myself how to do this time, man. So I'm just still trying to just figure it all out, y'all. That's what I'm trying to do in there, man. But what I did have was respect. Like, a lot of people in there used to rock with T-White, man. Like, I guess they felt like I was a cool young dude. Like, I wasn't somebody that was geographical all the way. Yeah, I hung with Norfolk dudes because that was my town. But at the end of the day, I still was kind of like diplomatic with everybody. Like, I used to kick it with dudes from Richmond, a lot of dudes from everywhere. So like, I think that's what kind of made me stick out, pause a little bit compared to the other young dudes that was in there, man, because I just was a little bit more seasoned, man. Like, I felt like I've been through a lot so far in my young life, and it was I already was living the life of somebody that was in their 30s, and I was still in my early 20s, man. But like, at this particular moment though, man, like, you know, only thing I probably was getting, man, was like $50 a month from my parents, man. Like, my mom would send me $50 a month. And I felt like that was cool, I already know it's hard out there, when you get locked up, you put all that responsibility on your family to send you money and all this. So that's what I was living off. I was living off $50 a month. Now, I already knew I had potential or whatever I could do to make money, but I just didn't figure it out at this particular moment yet, man. So like, as me being in there, I just used to have to make my $50 work. Now, when you got habits and you mess with la and you Black and Miles and all that, a lot of times that $50 never used to be enough. And I never told my parents that wasn't enough. I never told my mom that wasn't enough. I was just grateful for what she could send. So at this particular time right here, man, I'm kind of just trying to find something else to do, man. Like, and for real, I already knew something was going to fall in my lap sooner or later. I just knew, man. I just felt like I was built for this right here, man. So it was this one dude in the block, man. We're going to call him James, man. Now, James wasn't from Norfolk, but he was close from Norfolk. But I ain't going to say what city he was from, but he wasn't from Norfolk, man. But like, he was someone that was already in there that already had done time. When he got to 2C, he came from across the street. Now, across the street is the identical prison, which is Sussex 1. I'm on Sussex 2. Sussex 1 was a level 5. Y'all know Sussex 2 was a level 4. So that's a higher level for where he just came from. So when Sussex 2 at first opened up, they was bringing a lot of dudes who I guess levels was dropping, sending them across the street to Sussex 2. So he came from there and they brought him in our pod. Now, James was a dude. He was kind of a big dude a little bit. He wasn't fat, but he was kind of like a solid looking guy, man, a little taller than me, probably like 6 feet, 6'1" or something like that. And for real, he was a serious guy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. He was a serious dude. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it was like I could tell, like what I used to get from him, I used to see how he bid. Like the way he used to bid when he first moved in, he went straight to try to find a job. And like that was something I wasn't even thinking about doing. I'm still just running around being crazy, going outside, I'm not thinking about working in the pod or doing this or cleaning the showers or just having a job to get more money at the end of the month. I wasn't thinking nothing about that, man. But James did, man. Actually, he had a job across the street, so they transferred his job, and he was ended up being the buffer in our pod. So he used to buff at night. But the way me and him ended up getting cool was because he was locked up in Virginia Beach jail too, years ago. Like, this is years ago. So he overheard me talking one day about how I was in the Virginia Beach jail, but everybody knew I was from Norfolk. And when he heard that, he came up to me and we just started talking. And he hasn't been in Virginia Beach jail with almost a decade because he's been already down a little minute. You know what I mean? So he's telling me he asking me about people that used to work there. And I'm like, I think so. So me and him started up a conversation like that. And that's how me and him kind of had an introduction to meeting each other. So kind of since then, like he would come holler at me every now and then, like, cause he'll be sitting at the table or sometime I might see him by the phone. I'm by the phone next to him or whatever the case. And me and him would have conversations, man. But for real, James was one of those dudes that was like, he was really sharp. Like I got a lot of game from him, man. And like, for real, like the main thing that I really got for him was like, I guess he had a situation, when he was across the street. So like now that he's over here, like, I don't know if he really wanted to crank it up, but he had to probably. This is what I'm thinking. I never asked him, but I was assuming that he really wanted to crank it up because the conversations that me and him used to have, all he used to talk about is how he used to still take care of his mom, his wife, and his daughter kids. Like he would be like, he'll try to send as much as he can to help them. And I never really asked how he was doing that. I was thinking maybe he just saved up his job checks and used to send whatever he could to his people. That's what I was thinking. I was being super naive on the low. But the whole time, man, I ended up hearing that James was getting money across the street now. It was crazy because the way he came in our pod, it didn't look like a dude. He didn't look like a dude that was getting to that bag. James definitely didn't look like that type. You know what I mean? He looked real quiet, real reserved, real, I'm trying to stay out of trouble. Like, don't mess with me, but I'm trying to stay out of trouble. That's how James had looked. But I'm thinking that, from watching him now and then figuring out once I heard that he was getting money across the street, like he was just basically figuring the pod out. And like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to come straight in and jump right into hot water or whatever the case. But he was somebody that, like once I heard that he was getting money, like I couldn't believe it kind of because I was like, yo, James be chilling, dude. Like, nah, it was a dude that knew him. It was a dude that knew him for where he was from. And he was like, yeah, man, listen, man, James get to that money, man. Like, he's just quiet with it, you know what I mean? Because he's trying to get out on parole and, he still go up for parole and like, his junk looking good, So that's why dudes say he be so quiet. But like, for real, like I didn't really want to holler at James about the rumor that I heard, but like, I feel like me and him was cool enough. I wouldn't consider him my big homie, like on like I'm banging or nothing like that, or I'm on part of a member squad or whatever the case. Like I wouldn't consider that. He was like he was like somebody that was like, he had good advice. I could go talk to him about things and I could be honest with him about things as far as like what I just heard. So I was like, man, I'm hollering at him about it because I'm like, man, I wasn't doing bad, but I'm just like, man, I want to get some money. And like, any opportunity that comes around when you can get some money, man, you got to jump on it, y'all. You got to be right there and be ready for the opportunity, y'all. Let's get it. Like anytime there's an opportunity that comes around when you can get some money, man, you gotta be ready, man. I was like, man, this junk crazy, man. Me and James gotta have a talk, y'all. So boom. So I waited for him to come back because James used to go to a couple of programs. He stayed moving around. He was a vet. He knew how to move, man. He already had his property, his sneakers. We still haven't even ordered yet. But he was one of those dudes that just knew how to move, man. I respected that. I took notes from a lot of dudes that I saw move around on Susses, and I kind of emulated that as my time went, man. So like seeing James, man, I was like, man, I gotta holler at him, man. So I was just like, man, you know what? I'm just waiting for James to come back because I really need to holler. So when he came back, I didn't even know what I was gonna say. But like I say, I wasn't on the point where like I was poor or nothing like that. I didn't even look poor. I just wanted more. Like that makes sense. So like I waited for him to come back, man. I waited for him to come back. And I was like, look, man, when he came back, I was like, I need to holler at you. He was like, all right, let me put my stuff up. So James slept in, I was in cell 34. James slept in cell, I want to say it was it 28 or 27? It was one of those, but he was on that same side as me. But I was all the way in the back corner, so he was going up the steps. So he was like, all right, let me put my stuff up. He came back down. So when he came back down, he was like, what's up, nephew? I was like, look. I said, man, look, man. I said, look, man. He was like, what? I said, man, look, I ain't gonna lie. I said, don't ask me who told me. I said, man, but look, man, I heard you was the guy over there in Sussex Wine, man. He was like, who told you that? I was like, man, I just told you, don't ask me, man. I was like, I heard you was the guy over there. I was like, what you waiting for over here? He was like, what I'm waiting for? What you mean what I'm waiting for? I was like, man, listen, man, what are you waiting for, man? I was like, man, there's a lot of money in this joint. I said, I know dudes right now that be spending big Western Unions and all of that. I'm telling him about stuff. He was like, for real? I was like, yeah. He was like, so you telling me if I can make it happen, then you'll be able to move it? That's what you're saying? So like, I wasn't even ready for this question right here. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that question was like, you know, I didn't want to sign up for nothing that I really was gonna fumble or I wasn't prepared for. Like, of course I want to get some money, but still though, I'm like, man, this was a crazy question. So I'm like, yeah, man. I went on to say, yeah, bro. I was like, yeah, James. I was like, man, look, what's up? Give me a job, man. I know the count was good. He was like, all right, we're gonna see. He was like, look, whoever told you that super nosy, I already know they super nosy. That's whoever told you that. But he was like, look, like for real though, like I ain't even cranked up yet because I was still trying to figure out like what's going on, like who be telling, like who this and that. He was like, I got a dude in here that came with me from Sussex One, and I got him. He'll hold the joint, you know what I mean? He was like, but like for real though, man, like yeah, we could turn up though. Like I ain't gonna lie, I rock with you, T White. Like you're a good young dude. He was like, but you know, like I'm about to go for parole soon, man. So like, you know, like for real, I can't get my hands dirty with it. He said, what I can do is get it, and I can clean the money. He said, that's what I can do. As far as the canteen stuff, that's nothing. I don't really care about that. I got a box full of food already. So if you get food, that'll be for you. Don't come at me with nothing about no food, nothing. I don't want to hear that. But if you got somebody that's spending some money, that's when you come holler at me, then we can do business. So I'm like, that's your word? He was like, yeah, that's my word. I'm like, that's what's up, man. I dapped my uncle up and I dipped, y'all. So boom. I felt good knowing that I had a job, like, you know what I mean? But I knew I was destined for it though. Like, you know what I mean? I am the Lala. Like, I know it was a situation gonna happen like that, man. I knew the Lala was gonna get me out the dirt. I knew it, man. So like, I felt good. You know what I mean? I didn't know when he was gonna get something. I didn't ask. I knew the weekend was coming up. Like, I didn't know if he was going to the VI and get it. I didn't know if he had a roller. I didn't know nothing. All I knew is, man, that I just got hired to do a job with a dude that I jive rock with, man. And I was feeling good about that. Now, my homeboys from Norfolk, they knew James too. They didn't talk to James as much as I talked to James, but they already knew I rocked with James. So it'd have been hard trying to hide that from them. But I couldn't just throw James under the bus though. I couldn't do it though. But like, maybe James to see how it's playing out the hill, you know what I mean? Because like, I hate lying to dudes that I really rock with, even though it's not really their business. But still though, in prison, it's on the street, you can do that. Like, yo, I don't got to tell you who my plug is and And you don't got to do that in prison. But like, I'm just saying, like in prison, it's like you're with people. Like, you know what I mean? I'm with people every day that I rock with. And they like, yo, Weezy, where you getting all this stuff from? And like, you know what I mean? I would ask the dudes that I rock with, where you getting all that stuff from? They had stuff. So like, it all depends. But still, though, I was still going to run it by James just to make sure everything was straight. So like, I just was waiting on my opportunity. I ain't even gonna lie. I knew it was happening. I knew it was coming. And I was just waiting. Now, the whole time James was in there, when he had got the job and everything as the buffer man and all of that, it was this other dude in there. I ain't even gonna lie, it was another dude in there, man. We're gonna call him Rob, man. Now, Rob was like an older dude. He didn't look old, but he was older. You could tell he was older, man, because he had like the little fro and had gray in it. He had the stupid little gold tee and Like he just had looked like he don't know. I ain't gonna lie. Rob had looked like a bootleg Jamie Foxx in the face. I ain't gonna lie. He had look like Django, man. That's word, man. He had look like an old Django, man. But Rob was a dude that I knew prior because this is his second time in our pod. Now he was in our pod when we first got over there. But when we first got over there, somebody robbed Joe. Somebody took Rob's stuff. Now, if you someone that's like not gonna fight back, or you just someone that's scared, it's not gonna really work out for you in there. I mean, you have people that still can live amongst that, you know what I mean, or live being like that, but still though, you're gonna have a hard bid. So as soon as we got there, I don't know how people picked him out. All I know is he came out of his cell. He was like, yo, somebody stole all my hygiene, my food gone, all of that. So everybody looking. Now, Rob, when he was in our party, the first time, he slept in cell 36, which was on the back wall, the second cell to the back wall next to the showers. So that's kind of like, you know, it's on. You can see it, like it's right there. Like his junk kind of like right on blast. So he was like, when he came back from child, his stuff was gone. So I didn't even know that people be stealing like that in there. But that junk was crazy. I'm like, what? It was like he stole everything. So he was just looking stupid in the face, man. Like he had the dumbest looking American in the face, man. Like he looked like he wanted to tell. That's what it looked like. He looked like he wanted to tell so bad. And the only reason I say that is because like you could I don't know. It was just I saw it in him, man. Like he didn't look like he was like, man, where my stuff at? Like he went on it like that. He was just like, yeah, my stuff's gone, man. That's how he used to talk. Yeah, my stuff's gone, man. Somebody stole it, yeah. You know, somebody took it, man. He just went and sat on the table. And he just was looking stupid. So I'm like, this junk crazy. So it went from that to when they counted. I don't know what he said to the police, but when count was over with, they came back and got him. And Rob went to the hole. Now, he stayed in the hole probably like 30 days. Now, you went to the hole for somebody stealing your stuff. It's crazy. Like, but he probably just told him like, man, get me out of here. I want to check in. You know what I mean? And they got him out the pod. So he stayed in the hole for like 30 days. But his luck was so crazy, they brought him back to 2C. So he come back to 2C. Now he's back at our pod. So when he come back in our pod, he's known as a coward. And the only reason I say that he's known as a coward is because everybody knew that his stuff got stolen and he didn't do anything about it. Now, fast forward to tape. Now he's been back in our pod. It's like, you know, everybody know he's soft as hell. Everybody know he ain't gonna bust a grape, goddamn it. Everybody already know he ain't gonna throw rice at a damn wedding. Everybody knew this. Everybody already knew this who Rob was, you know what I mean? So they gave Rob a job. Rob became a dude that work out in the pod. He'll work out. He'll have special assignment working out in the pod. And that's what he used to do, man. Like, he didn't really bother nobody. He ended up getting in cell 2 with another older dude that he jobbed. I guess they was okay at the moment, man. But that situation didn't last long because I don't know what had happened with Rob and his roommate. And I thought they was cool because I knew he knew Rob was a coward. But it's my word, man. I remember one day, man, we come back from dinner one day. And this man throwing Rob's stuff out the cell. Like, I'm talking about literally evicting him out his own cell, man. I'm talking about boxes going out, fume. And they sleep right there by the booth. Cell 2 is right by the booth. Man, he throwing the stuff out, fume. Fume. Oh, you see, I seen the pillow come out that joint. He threw the man pillow, and that's the state pillow. He throwing pillow out that joint. I'm like, man, this dude is psycho, man. This man throwing everything out, man. This is my word. Rob come back in, just seeing his stuff getting thrown on the joint. He was like, he looked at his cell, he was like, I want you out of here. I ain't doing no more time with you. Oh, it was snapping. I ain't doing no more time with you. I want you out of here right now. I want you out of here. I want you out of here. Rob ain't saying nothing. Rob just looking at his stuff getting thrown out. He like, looking like a freaking mute in the face, y'all. So boom. Promise you. Next thing you know, police come in. Police like, what's going on here? He walked to cell 2. Why you throwing your roommate's stuff out? He was like, man, because I don't want him in here. I don't want him in here, man. Dude was like, man, you can't just throw nobody out your room, man. What are you doing? So he got on the walkie-talkie, called the sergeant. Sergeant come up that joint. Sergeant come up there and seeing that junk, all the dude property all out there. He said, man, y'all locked down. Y'all locked down right now, man. He locked the whole pod down. So when he locked the whole pod down, I definitely can't hear. I can't hear nothing they saying, but I can look from my door and I can see the sergeant took Rob to the table. And he had him like this. He put his foot in front of him. He just was talking to him like, and Rob just was sitting there like, he was like, next thing you know, he was like, hey, yo, come on, pack your stuff up. They packed Rob roommate up. That's my word, man. I was like, now everybody knew like, Rob's a coward. Rob ain't gonna do nothing. But at the end of the day, do y'all consider that ratting? Me, I consider that as just someone being a coward telling the truth. Now, you could call it ratting if you want. The man threw his stuff out the cell. The sergeant probably was like, what happened? He probably was like, I don't know. The man threw my stuff out. I don't know what he said to the sergeant. But all I know is they packed his roommate up. His roommate was out of there. Like, it was crazy, man. Like, they packed him up quick and he was gone, y'all. So, boom. So, like, after that, like, nobody really wanted to deal with Rob, man. Like it wasn't need to beat him up. Like, you already knew that he was a scary individual, man. So that's why I had to paint that picture about who Rob was in the block. Like, Rob was just somebody that didn't want no problems, and he was a coward. Like, this is what goes down. So Rob in the block, that didn't affect anything. That didn't affect anything about what my future plans was with James. That didn't affect anything about what my future plans was with James, because I already knew James was probably working on something. Like, but the way he moved, I would never know. Like I said, I didn't know it was coming from the V room or coming from a roller or another bill. I didn't know anything, man. All I know is this, man. Probably about a week later from after me and James had that conversation, James called me, man. He called me to cell 3. Now, cell 3 is next to cell 2, which is next to Rob's cell. Now, the person that slept in cell 3 was the person that James knew that came with him from Sussex 1. So when he called me to the cell, I promise you on everything, man. I walked to the cell. He was like, "Oh, come in." So he got CO to close the door. When he closed the door, he threw the cut up, man. As soon as I walked in there, as soon as I turned around and looked, man, I promise you, man, that man had a ball, man. That man had like, it was probably, I'm gonna say at least about 2 zips. I ain't gonna over exaggerate and nothing like that. And this is the mid game around this time. It was like 2 zips of Lala sitting on the table right there. Sitting right there. That's my word. He was like, yeah. He was like, I ain't trying to touch it and get that stuff in my hands. He was like, you will help my homeboy right here bag it up? I'm like, yeah, I'll help him. So me and bro sat there and we was just bagging up spoons. He was holding the door down and we was just bagging up spoons. It took us like 3 cell breaks and we bagged up all them spoons. We bagged them up. So he was like, look, the spoon's gonna be in here. He was like, but look though, I'm giving you this though. This for you, just to get the pod started. I'm like, what's this? He was like, it's $100 worth of 2-pack pieces. I'm like, what you want off this? He was like, nothing. Just get the pod started with that, John. I'm like, nothing. He like, yeah, like nothing. Like, he was like, you put somebody in the game and split it with them or look out for your homeboy. I said, look, speaking of them homeboys, man, I said, man, they gonna wanna know. Kind of like, you know, they rock with you too, James. I was like, they gonna wanna, you know what I mean? I don't like, I gotta tell them my business, but like, I just don't like lying to dudes I really rock with, you know what I mean? He was like, I mean, I dig that. He was like, but look though, you gotta keep me safe though. T. White. I was like, yeah, you right. So I was like, I'm just gonna say that I got it from a dude on another building or something. He was like, yeah. But he was like, look, you got access to spoons. Somebody wanna spend some money and you got the feezies, man. He's like, and you got the 2-pack pieces, man. So he was like, man, look, let's make it happen then. Let's make it happen. He was like, cause look, I gotta get some money to my wife and everything like that. So I was like, look, enough said. Dap him up, man. I was happy, y'all. I come out that joint, that's my word. As soon as I walked up, start walking around, I went to the cell, put the joints up, because I didn't want to alert my homeboys that I was smelling like Lala and all of that. And then I got the joints on me, and I just came out the cell with James and them. Now, when I came out the cell with James and there was only one person that saw me, and that was my other homeboy. And he pinned it, but he didn't pin it like on some nosy. He was on the phone, so, you know, he seen me coming out of cell 3. So when I come out, I go to my cell, put the stuff up, wash my hands up real good, and I come back out. Put some oil on, I come back out. So when I come back out, man, you know what I mean? I'm out in the pod, and I'm just chilling. So I had to figure out how I'm gonna play this off. Because I knew James was watching me, you know what I mean? Like, I seen him, like, he was standing by cell. He went back by his cell up top in 36. And he was just standing there, just like on the railing, like, just, you know what I mean? Like this. And I was just trying to figure out how I'm gonna duck everybody and how I'm gonna tell everybody I got the pack now. Like, this is my first pack. This is like one of the first packs. Now, I had a story about my very first pack, but that was the pack that I produced. Like, this is like the very first time I slammed and banged, like right here. So like, I'm like, man, I'm gonna do this, man. I was like, I know what I'm gonna do, man. I know what I'm gonna do. I told the lady to come here. The lady was cool. I forgot her. I forgot her name. I didn't even call her name, but I called her to the booth. She came to the jump. She was like, what's up, White? I was like, look. I said, man, I gotta run downstairs and go to the sergeant office real fast, man. I said, man, please, this is important. I said, is he in there? She was like, yeah, he's in there. But if he's not in there, he's probably in 4A because he was down there doing. I said, man, it's an emergency. I really need to talk to him. It's an emergency. She was like, she looked at me like, I know you lying, White. I was like, man, please. She was like, all right. So she opened the joint for me. Opened the other joint for me. Open sesame. I dipped off, y'all. So boom. I shoot down the steps. Got down the steps. Sergeant wasn't even in his office. I didn't even care. I just went down there. I went to Salaport downstairs, and I just stood down there for a minute. And I was looking at the clock. I was like, stay there. I'm looking at the clock in the booth. I'm like, So stay down here for like 15 minutes, then I'm gonna go back up. You know what I mean? Whole time I was just sitting there. I'm like this, but the whole time I'm saying, yes, Lala, let's go, man. Do it, bro. Come on, it's your time, bro. Let's get it. So it's time to go back up the steps. I shoot back up the steps. As soon as I shoot back up the steps, I shoot back up the steps in the bar like this. I did a sack run. I was like, I got up the steps. It's my wife. I said, hey, see you open 34. Open up 34. She let me in. My roommate was in there. I said, hey, bro, let me get in here right quick, bro. He was like, stinking here too. I was like, yeah, I know. The Lala was already in there. So when my celly dipped out, I threw the cut up. I was in there just sitting in there like, what am I do? I came back out. After I sat there for a minute, the lady said, celebrate. I was like, I told somebody, hey, get my roommate. Tell him to get the door open. Roommate get the door open. It's my word. Roommate get the door open. I walked to the braille and I was like, hey. I told my homeboys, yo, hey, come here, bro. He was like, what's up? I was like, y'all trying to smoke some Lala?
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments can pay for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart just to open your eyes up.